Well. Welcome everybody to another Barefoot hiking episode or segment in the Edboys food truck series. This is sort of my process and exercise routine. I try to do this every week as I'm running the food truck because Lord knows I got a lot of different electronics inside of the truck, lots of different data, SIM cards, Starlink, and I'm standing on a hovering piece of metal platform for hours and hours a day, and after a while all of these things start to factor in, play a role in your life, leading to inflammation or, maybe other congestions or, underlying sicknesses may come up more easily due to that. So, with that being said, I like to come up on these mountains barefoot, as rugged as it can be, and do a little grounding, as they call it. But I don't focus so much on those words. I'm more concerned about the feeling that I have under my feet. And normally it feels like a lot of decompression and the massage. So all of those pressure points under your feet are being stimulated. And, I feel best when I come up here after I'm feeling inflamed, because I notice that it has a reducing effect to it, whether it's some sort of body inflammation or sick. I don't know, anything as far as even if you have a sore throat or nose congestion, I find the time to make those applications here in this wonderful mountain in Glendale in Los Angeles. I've been hiking here for many years now, and it's always done me justice climbing up here. I like how green the mountains are. Well, it's been raining, so. But yeah, I love coming up here, and it always does me good. What I actually noticed, something not early on but later, is that I always felt some sort of tension or stress after wearing shoes or boots and coming up here. And I never knew why. In my head, everything just translated as exercise, and there should be some sort of relief when you exercise. But that wasn't the case, especially on a rugged trail like this one. In this California terrain. Well, coming down and up with shoes caused inflammation, caused aches in my ankles, aches in my knees, and it just felt like I wasn't getting the most as I could out of this, if that makes sense. And ever since I took my shoes off, I never put them back on. Never have I dared once to come back here with a pair of leather or plastic under my toes. No. Impossible. So I recommend everyone to give that a try and see how they feel towards that. Of course, I'm 32, and I maybe started about a little over a year ago and had been hiking for a few years quite frequently with shoes. But I've noticed the differences in the experience coming barefoot up and down. The decompression, the relaxation, the sense of relief is unparalleled. I would say. And just another form of way to hit, of heat, of another, excuse me for my impediment this morning. I would even say that it helps, get rid of, helps you cool off better, because you get rid of most of your heat through your head and your feet. So wearing shoes, I'm sure has some, I don't know the science behind that, but I'm sure plays a role. No one likes the feeling of their feet being covered for 8 hours or more. Starts to get a little bit, stuffy. And maybe that stuffiness plays a part in our days, and we don't even realize it. Imagine kicking your feet in the sand while you're working. Well, that's a dream many of us would, wish to experience and live, but anyways, you get the point. Normally, this trail loops around, but because they were doing some construction, I avoided the signs and just walked straight forward. And the construction workers didn't even notice me. So I slid through the cracks. And, eventually I walked into a barrier or obstacle rather, I should say, of different construction equipment and materials. And there was a gentleman, once again, that didn't notice me as I'm shirtless and barefooted. And I hollered at the man and I told him, hey, can I walk through here? He said, no, the trail is closed, in the Slavic Ukrainian accent. And I'm like, okay, well, looks like my hike is done. But then I asked him, what about the other side? And he then, confirmed that I may proceed on the other side. If there was one, he didn't even know. I don't have a BPM reading right now, but I'm probably over 155, 160 BPM. Let's check out Pulsoid. Normally, wowzers. I'd say normally when I'm streaming, by the way, I stream on Kick. Follow my channel to kick.com/Edboys. This is Edboys LA. All my socials are under Edboys LA, but I go by Edboys on Kick. And when you follow and watch some of my streams, I typically have a heart rate monitor overlay up there somewhere on the screen. It shows my BPM. And I have a few other cool overlays you can check out as well. Normally, it takes me about 35 to 40 minutes or less, depending on the pace that I choose to go up here. Sometimes I want to run, sometimes I take it slow. It all depends. Weather might have to do with it too. In the summertime, I don't catch myself sprinting when it's really hot, but it would be a good time now to do that. But we're almost at the top, and like I said, normally there's a loop around, but this is just the one way today. So we'll go up and we'll come down directly the same way. Whew. This is the part where I'm really trekking up. We'll take a look at the VOD later and see how the angles are, how the sound is, the general quality of the video. Whew. I'm not the best at speaking with high BPM, I have to admit. Well, this is the crux, I would say, of the hike. It's very steep here, comparably to the rest of the trail. I actually don't ever recall walking up this way. Like 99% of the time, I think I've always started the other way on the trail. Oh. Oh. Oh, dude, I think normally, can I go down this way? I think so. Wow. I wanted to go full sprint at that last second. Oh, wowzers. Woo. All that good stuff. And now we go downhill. Nice and smooth. I'm so not used to doing it like this, I have to say. The loop is the harder route. Going up this way is easier now that I realize so many people go up that way instead of the other. Makes sense. The other trail is really steep. This one's easier to complete. Ooh, here's the fun part. Now this is the part where you can really thump your foot and hurt yourself, or walk directly on your heels. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be going on your toes as often as you can. Tippy toe the whole time. And you can step on some of the most jagged rocks, tippy toe, and shifting your weight a little bit. You understand when you do it. Doing this will teach you how to walk after decades of living as a human being. They got it all wrong. They gave you a pair of shoes to start with. You're supposed to be like a hobbit for the first 10 years probably. I'm sure it depends where you grew up, of course. Like growing up in Los Angeles, no one's running around Hollywood Boulevard with barefoot. But if you were in Peru or something like that, chances are you could have been. It'll be more tolerable doing that in the neighborhood, hanging out outside. Good stuff. It does feel nice. I feel like I regenerate my youth when I come out here without a shirt and shoes. And I get a nice little tan. I get some good exercise, a fresh breath air, a breath of fresh air, fresh of breath, a breath of fresh. And like I mentioned previously, the important detail is to be on your tippy toes as much as you can. And you can use your heels to stop you from sliding. That's the best thing I could suggest. But otherwise, you should be on your toes most of the time. Whew. And we sprinted down. Could I have scuffed? No, we're good. You gotta be careful. I mean, look, if you're gonna do this naturally, you're gonna scrape the bottom of your feet. I nearly looked like I chopped off one of my toes the other day. Those things happen, but the benefits outweigh everything. Of course, Like, if I don't, I'm not telling anyone to do this. I'm not, insisting. I check with a doctor and all that terms of service nonsense, to go through all that before you try to do something like this. This is done by a professional. And be sure of the trails that you use. Obviously, I have years of experience on this trail. Like, I can basically do this blindfolded. When I took my shoes off, I was already acquainted with the trails. So if you're going to end up doing something like this, I would say start somewhere where it's familiar for you. And, for the most part, it can be, cross safely. I don't suggest doing this in the places that are, unknown or where you don't have experience. Also, there do come with some risks. There are some risks of going barefoot. For example, don't want to be stepping over dog doo-doo or anything like that. You don't want to be stepping over feces, and of course, I'm sure there will be residues of that on dirt trails where dogs do frequently cross. So just as a warning, your skin will come in contact with different substances. I just cut my foot, but that's okay. If you guys want to see what that looks like. It's kind of hard to stand like this, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Might impede the walking just a little bit, but otherwise, we're still okay. Try not to use. Okay, this one. I actually need to use that toe. It's the big foot. And then you're basically doing ballet the whole time on the big foot. And now I'm gonna have a little limp. But like I mentioned before, the benefits do outweigh the benefits are next to none. In comparison to most exercises, go out there, let your body experience the weathers, experience nature, get in touch with that, in a realistic way. I scuffed the big toe. I never scuffed the big toe. That happens very rarely where I scuff the big toe. I'm just really surprised. And yeah, dude, I can't walk. I can't perform the way I was just doing minutes ago with that scuffed big toe. And that's just a lesson. If you're gonna do this, don't get excited and start sprinting down like me. Like, I'm used to it. I can deal with the pain if it comes. But it's just a lesson for you guys to watch as I'm experiencing it right now. You're better off just trying to do this more diligently rather rushing down the hill. In every case, you're gonna appreciate that a lot more. Hello.
Don't keep it up.
Excuse me. Seems like they're having some kind of kids course over here today. Well, I'm trying to limp down and make it home. Yikes. Also, it depends on the terrain that you're using. Those rocks were that sandy, rocky area, like this one, it's harder to walk on compared to like damp mud. Oh, Jesus. So like I said, you know, there's not much agitation. When you wear some socks and shoes and go about your day, it's all going to be fine. You're not going to feel that with some layers. Just as a warning though, this is something that you need to get used to. It takes some time to understand how to do it. You know, they don't teach you how to walk every day. But old Eddie here is showing you the way. You know, on the Barefoot hiking trail, of course. Mr. Squirrel. Rabbit squirrels. Don't bother me, Mr. Squirrel. Looked like it was aggressive for a moment. Alright guys, well, there you go. That was a barefoot hiking trail experience. I'm not sure if I can rotate the camera to show myself. I'd like to. Here we go. Oh, was that a reset? I suppose it was. Alright y'all. Well, my name's Eddie from the Edboys Food Truck channel. And this was a barefoot hike. I'll see you guys on the next one.